Hey YouTube, I'm really sorry for the bad imagery here on the indicator, but I wanted to show you what I was doing first. This is the drive gear we took out of the caliper the brake lathe last night, and I told you that I thought it was drilled kind of off. You can probably pick up on that just a little bit from what I'm showing you here. I stuck it on the lathe. I didn't call it. Stuck it on the lathe, and I think you can see the hula hooping going on there around the outside edge. It's my theory, and I've got this on a pretty decent collet right here, an internal collet, expanding collet, or mandrel, sorry, I'll use the right name. Expanding mandrel, and then I've got that in a collet, so it should be fairly reasonably true. I'm just got turning at slow speed. Let me kind of show you what's cooking here. I apologize for the light. Oh, let's see what you guys go through. Okay, that's a little better, I think. We're getting a pretty solid, let's call it 16 or 17 thousandths at that one spot for just out of round. And that should be a machine surface, but I think it's kind of chowdered up. But the important part I want you to see, if you look at that outer ring on the back end, you can kind of see where that's hula hooping. And I say that because it's going in an elliptical manner. And it's my theory that this was drilled off center, and consequently, for being drilled off center, it wore into the housing. And from the housing wear, that it started allowing the gear to come in and out of mesh. Not exactly full mesh, but it did cause some wear to the worm gear that I'll show you in just a second. But I wanted to show you this, kind of a graphic of what's going on. And I'll set up for another one and we'll go from there. Okay, slightly different spot. I'm out on the further edge of this one. You can kind of see again. There we go. It's a good solid 17 right there. I'll set up another spot so you can see it again. Okay, this time I'm set up on the back side of the gear. And you can kind of see, kind of getting about the same thing. So fairly uniform as far as the run out that it's getting. From either side of the gear in each of those locations. So it's my theory, and it's just a theory, that this was drilled off center. I'm going to measure it, but I wanted to show you on the lathe first, just so you have an idea of the run out. Because the static measurements, like, okay, what does that mean? Well, this thing was kind of coming in and out of mesh pretty good. Because on a gear set where you only have a certain amount of depth, you know, 15, 17 thousandths is quite a chunk. Plus you wear in the measurement of the wear in the housing. It was moving around quite a lot. Okay? Be back in just a minute. Okay, YouTube. I just want to share with you this was the arbor I was using. The small set I bought from a US seller. Works very nicely. Just happened to be about the right size, so put that in. Now these are the surfaces that we talked about a while ago with the run out on the lathe. You can feel there's a little humposaurus in there for sure. Now I'm sure this was turned whenever it was manufactured. And there's fairly intricate here. It should have, you know, been fairly well done. So let me give you an in shot with that, so you can see it up close. That's what I'm looking at. Notice that chunky side? Thins out. I swear that it's been cut off center. Or bored off center. Okay, let's flip it around the other way. I'll take some measurements here in a second, but I just wanted to show you before I take it back off this mandrel. The other one I wanted to share with you, I looked at a still shot I had today of this, and it's pretty evident if you look. This is a way of a pointer. If you look right here in the center, look at the tooth depth right here versus out here on the edge. Okay, sure, some of it's going to be wear. That's understood, but wow, look at the width of the cut. I'm pretty sure it didn't leave that way. And in addition to that, it's kind of hard to see with the light. You can see where that's been moving around inside. So I'll get something down here, take the arbor off, and then we'll see if we can come up with a better way of doing it. So again, the tooth pattern it makes, and again this is up just a little bit higher than it should be. You know, it's not bad. Different view. I'm pretty sure this thing was under pressure and it was out like this, trying to push its way out, causing it to shear along that edge. And the drive pins that are supposed to be in the end here, you can probably not see them very well. Maybe better this direction. It's a drive pin right in here. They were probably either lost when it was first disassembled or something bad happened, because this thing should have turned and it should have locked. But there's really not much going on here mechanically that should have stopped it. This was obviously the wear, and being this was turning rotors, a smooth cut is what you want. And if this thing was jumping and jittering and carrying on, that would have made a really bad cut, and you would have probably told the shop foreman he wanted rid of this thing quickly. So, all right, let me go change this up. I'll be right back. Yeah, so I went in and took that off the mandrel. Nice little set of expanding mandrels. I'll put a link on my page specifically talking about where I got them. They were American made, came in a nice wooden block. Just tighten the wedge and then the wedge comes out, but it happened to fit on there very nicely, so I snugged it up. Okay. This is the thrust washer that you saw when I was taking it apart. Okay. Now, drum roll. Yeah, if my wife is watching, which she doesn't, sometimes she does, I sure would like a new caliper for one of those holidays we're supposed to buy for each other. Okay, we're zeroed out. I'm going to take a measurement. I'm 90 degrees to the surface there. 142. I'm going to go 90 degrees to that. $131. All right. Gauging exercise. Let's do it again. Oh. Let's go right to this spot right here. $142. And $130. You be the judge. Is that even or not? Looks like there's about 10 thousandths difference, this side being thicker than this side over here. Let's flip it over and see if we can do the same, or roughly the same. And it may be actually bored at an angle, going at a slant. Okay, I'm just going to go right here to this. Now, I know there's wear, and the purists in the audience are going to say, you know, yeah, I know. All right, that's 147, 48. That is 129. The thickness is different, side to side. I think it was bored off center. Somebody can tell me if that was the design intent, but we saw when they had it on the lathe that it was causing it to basically have elliptical run out on this thing. And inside, this was down in this hole, I contend that this, which it rides on a shaft, so it's got some movement, and that shaft is quite long, so it's quite flexible. I think this was in there just moving around, small but enough to start causing this thing to have issues. And if you look at the wear on this one, these center two teeth, yeah, I know that's the normal contact pattern, but boy, they sure are sharp. Turn that around so you can see it a little better. It's always tough to get this lit well. They sure are sharp compared to the other. So, thoughts. I think this is repairable. It's going to have to be broached. But what I was thinking about doing is go ahead and fill this, plug it, and maybe you can cut a slide pin along the side after I kind of go ahead and Loctite it in place and go ahead and slightly press fit it because I don't want to crack this thing. Go ahead and set a pin in to fill the void here and then rebore this thing, and then go ahead and rebroach it. It's an awfully small broach. I'll have to figure out how to do that and go from there, but I don't think putting this back together the way it came out of the factory is going to be the way to go. I think it's going to fail probably more quickly because there's more wear involved. Thoughts? Anybody has any suggestions on this spot right here? I know it's probably going to be just fine. It'll probably wear right back in, but what are your thoughts around taking this, because I have a good set right here, a good set of teeth over here. What if I were to set that, braze that up in those low spots, fill that up, and chase it back across here? Because I have a good guide here from the existing tooth, and I can go ahead and set that on the lathe and recut this, you know, adjusting the compound and everything to try to get this just right. But I'm just curious. I wonder what your thoughts are on it. That's it for this evening. I just wanted to bring these parts out. This is one of those you're driving to work and it's bugging you kind of a thing. And we'll go from there. Yeah. I wanted to bust this old school here. For a graphic. Got these old tools. In the hands of somebody who knows how to use them, they are quite accurate. Okay, that's pretty tight right there. And let's come over here. Not even. Not even close. Put that around where you can see it. Over on, I'm going to call it the chunky side. Like that. Over on this side, not even close. Or, let's contrast it, go the opposite direction. Yeah, not even. Your thoughts and comments are welcome. I appreciate your time this evening. This is going to be a short one, but I wanted to take this as a phase 2. Ordinarily, this washer sits under this and fits down in that housing, and it sets the gear up slightly higher to get it right on the center line of the worm gear. Doesn't look too bad until you start moving it around. Just even side to side, how much play it's got in that housing. So the top part here, which was that oil tube, it was worn pretty much the same way. And you can kind of see down inside of here, I'm going to open this this up just a little bit. You can actually come in here. I apologize for the light. It's almost cut threads. You can hear it catching. I'm pretty sure that was this on this. This feels to be aluminum. It was taking its due and cutting a groove in there and causing us problems. So this I'm going to probably go ahead and bore out and bush it. I'm going to use this to pick up my center and then go from there, and I'm going to bush that and do whatever I'm going to do with the gear. I think go ahead and, well, a couple of different ways. I could actually go ahead and broach it and use the keys, because the shaft that comes in and out rides with the carriage, so it has to slide. So you can't lock this gear to the shaft. You're going to have to allow it to drive and slide. So broaching it, it's a very, very small broach. We may have to do something even crazy on the shaper. I've got a small tool. I could probably make that work, but I'm just curious about your thoughts. If you have any feedback on this one, please share them in the comment section, and if you like it, please hit like, and if you think this is somewhat interesting to you, there'll be a lot more of this kind of work. I know my channel's largely been filled by automotive repairs with a little bit of machine work, and that's the way this summer's been, getting all my kids back in order and getting their vehicles repaired, stuff I've been putting off. So we'll move forward with that. I thank you for your time. If you hit like or subscribe or comment, whatever you want to do. And this is Dan. Thanks for watching.